Welcome back to another episode of Owning the Weight podcast. I'm your host, Jillian Tedesco, and joining me for the last episode in this series, Thrive, Don't Just Survive, with Ashley Kumar, physical therapist and breathwork specialist. We're going to be diving into today biohacking tools to support energy and detox as we talk about how so many of the things can affect our stress. This is what we covered in the last several weeks. If you're just tuning in for the first time, we've gone over a lot of things like nutrition, sleep, exercise, breath work, hormones, our connection and purpose. And today we're going to be talking about some biohacking tools.
Yeah.
So why don't you start off by sharing with the listeners what biohacking is exactly?
Yeah. So biohacking is just where you can start to optimize your health. Maybe you start off with you start sleeping better. Like it's so funny, like in other countries, it's not called biohacking. It's just like how you do life. It's normal. But us Americans, we had to like turn it into biohacking because we don't sleep. We don't eat well, right? A lot of us, not all of us. And then like the sauna is like something that's very common in Finland. But in America, it's like, oh, yeah, sauna, I got to do that, you know? So biohacking tools is just optimizing your lifestyle, your life.
Why would we want to biohack?
So biohacking tools can really help you from healing from within. So I also want to state like biohacking tools are, after you get the main things down, these are great tools to add on. If you already have the main things down, like sleep, nutrition, and you're taking care of yourself and you've got good connection purpose, then you go ahead right into biohacking tools. Like you can add some of these things in, but like this isn't the first place to start.
So that's
if you're
going back to that, we had discussed in the previous podcast, your foundation for health and minimizing stress
is like number one.
Good nutrition, move your body, sleep, and minimize stress. Like those are the foundations. And then on top of there, you build in supplementation, hormones, or like supplement. What do I want to say? Supplementing hormones, right? And then biohacking, is that how you would say? They
yes,
kind of like
biohacking
stacks?
is probably last, of things that this is an external use versus going from within, an internal thing of letting your body heal, right? So you're going to use a device that's going to help you to internally heal better. But how they really enhance you is they actually increase the mitochondrial production. Don't know if you guys ever heard that or not, but mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It's where you get your energy. And then they also can help, biohacking tools can help you with detoxification, reducing oxidative stress and inflammation. And they can really help you repair and restore your body at the cellular level. So way, way down the cellular level where it all starts. And we are nothing but mammals. I know, newsflash, it's hard to believe, but we are human mammals, and we all depend on oxygen. Dogs depend on it. Horses depend on it and humans depend on it. We're all mammals, so we need oxygen. And so these tools really help to increase that oxygenation to the tissues, including the brain. It's all about blood flow and oxygenation. Whenever you're getting it, you're going to be feeling good. So what I really noticed was like I was starting my energy stacking tools. And so that gradually helped me to build a more energy-rich lifestyle. So I added small little sustainable practices at first, like sleep, and really, focusing on my nutrition. And then starting adding these in, that's whenever I created a healing room in my house and you've come over to it. And it's not like I planned on doing that. Like it just slowly, one tool came up and then another one. It started with my yoga sauna and then kind of brought into the cold plunge and then a PEMF and a red light and Pilates reformer, So it's turned into quite a bit of a healing little room. But those have definitely helped me to be more foundational in my healing process because they're in my home. I can be consistent with them. I work at Palm Health and they have a lot of these tools there, but I had to get home and get the kids. So for me, I needed it to be right there in front of me so I could stay consistent. And then that consistency brought into me feeling better each time. But just like there's no magic pill or procedure, guys, on your health. So it's really about these daily habits that create this snowball effect of feeling alive again. So if you're adding on these stacks, these saunas and these cold plunges, it's not like the pill that you have to take and you're better. It takes time out of your day, but it's creating this new lifestyle and this new habit of just popping it into your day. And that's whenever, you start to feel better, but it takes work to do that. But your body's going to start telling you to do it because you're going to feel so good after.
Yeah.
So I crave it. And if I don't have it, I don't feel as well. So these things, I've checked them to see if they work. And I track a lot of things. Right now I'm tracking my glucose with a CGM. I also track my HRV and all of that, my sleep with my Oura Ring. And so I see a direct improvement. Like if I had a big day at work where I saw, 8 patients, barely had time to eat at lunch, it was a go, go, go day. I used to just, go to bed, get home, make food for the kids, get the kids washed up, and then try to get to bed. And I was like buzzing before I went to bed. So I didn't have any way to like calm myself back down. And so I'll run upstairs now and I'll do 20 minutes on the PEMF mat and the red light. And I do them both at the same time with a horizontal stand on my red light board. And I literally will notice like, oh, wow, I just was able to sleep better because I actually had a tool to calm me back down.
This is where you said the deregulate, right?
To downshift.
Downshift.
Yeah. So it's like your car has been going into full gear all day long at 100 miles an hour. You've got to downshift. You think it's just going to go to bed and it's going to downshift? Nope. So mine wasn't. So I had to have a break. And that was the big thing that really helped me downregulate. So these tools.
That's awesome. So talk to us about these tools. First tell me your top 5 and then let's dig into each one of them.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is like definitely a lot. The top 4 that I use regularly is the infrared sauna versus conventional sauna. And why the infrared uses far infrared heat, and that helps to heat you from the inside out versus conventional sauna that uses like coals, heat you from the outside in. So you're going to get, actually, they studied the sweat on people in infrared versus conventional. And there's more toxic burden or toxic load coming out of your sweat if you go infrared sauna. So that's why I chose infrared. I really thought each of these devices through, did a lot of back-end research before I purchased because the sauna was my biggest expense. It was about $6,000. And then I also am obsessed with the cold plunge. Cold plunge and sleep, I think, were my 2 biggest things that I felt the most dramatic difference with. And then the PEMF map, pulsed electromagnetic frequency, I use that as well. And it's a very top hitter biohacking tool for me, and the red near-infrared light board. Those are my top 4 that I use very regularly. There's also, Gary Brecka has a superhuman protocol. Those are all in his superhuman protocol. It's just that he also does exercise-induced oxygen therapy. So getting yourself into a little aerobic capacity and then putting some oxygen in.
Is that what April does?
April Barovic.
Yeah.
Is that how you say her last name?
Yeah, she's in Clayton. It's a girl I go to for lymphatic drainage.
And
she's
she
amazing.
also has a really bad infrared bed, which just bathes your cells in red near-infrared light. And then she also has a PEMF mat too. So she does these things in her office as well.
But she has the oxygen on the bike.
And she has the oxygen on the bike. And I've done it. And
you've done the superhuman?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So that was a bit expensive. I wanted to put that in my home, but I was like, meh. I think that and hyperbaric oxygen tanks chambers are great too. Just they're expensive. There is a clinic out in Wildwood that uses them. It's about $250 a session, but that one also really increases stem cells.
There's also one at Restore.
Restore Wellness is a zip-up hyperbaric. It's not the actual chamber.
Got it.
So it's still great, but it's probably not as beneficial as the medical grade, like chambers, hyperbaric chambers. Yeah.
That's probably why it doesn't cost $250 a session.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's dive deeper into this infrared. You said you're detoxifying more toxins from the infrared versus the regular sauna.
Versus the conventional, yeah. So because of those far infrared coiled panels in the back of them that are going to heat you from the inside out, and that's going to bring sweat to your body, and sweat is going to be how you're going to eliminate toxins and heavy metals as well as bowel movements and urination through the kidneys and the gut. But sweating is also a great one. And then also that sauna improves your circulation, your oxygenation and detoxification. So it's operating, the infrared's operating at a lower temperature of like 120 to 150. I'll get in mine at like 135 and I'll just start dripping sweat within like 5 minutes. So really looking to get that drip sweat all over your body. Is just like dripping on the mat. It's awesome. So that makes them super effective though for helping to increase or really help you with like your environmental toxins that we're always exposed to. And it's great for calming. So it increases your blood flow. It's more of a vasodilator. And then for that detox benefit. So that sauna is really more, I'd say, as like a calming technique. And I like to do that one in the evening time.
So the health benefits are like the detoxification and the calming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And several others, which we'll talk about. But there's quite a few other benefits to that sauna. So detoxing like those heavy metals you guys hear about, I'm sure, and then the pollutants that burden the liver and the kidneys, But also you get this thing whenever you start that really intense sweat, you get this release of heat shock proteins. And I like still, it's a lot. I'm like, heat shock proteins, what is that? But these are little proteins that protect your cells from damage whenever you're stressed. And they also can stimulate that mitochondria energy within the cell.
So they're a good thing.
So you're releasing those, yeah. So under that controlled stress of sweating. Then that vasodilation, really bringing rich blood to the tissues and oxygenation. It helps to decrease those cortisol levels, which will increase your sleep. It can also reduce sore muscles and enhance your recovery. Joint pain helps with. I got the yoga sauna, so I'll do my mobility inside the sauna, and then it boosts the immune system. But there's been some great studies out that just blow my mind. But this is why I say in consistency over intensity. You go to do the sauna one time a week and you oversweat and you dehydrate yourself, you don't replace with electrolytes and minerals, you might be hurting yourself more. But the study shows that if you do sauna 4 to 7 times a week, you get a 50% lower risk of cardiovascular related death and a 65% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's and dementia. I'm like, yes, please sign me up for the sauna.
But how long do you have to sit in there?
So 20 minutes, 4 times a week is the most optimal use to get the optimal benefits.
Do you do it that frequently?
In the winter, in the colder months, yes. In the summer, I'll be honest, I don't, but I sweat more like outside while I'm working out. So I kind of consider that my sweat time.
So I was going to say, how long is optimal use? So 4 times a week, 20
minutes each, yeah.
You almost have to own one because it's going to be hard to go somewhere.
Yeah. So there is a nice zip-up sauna that I like too. It's by Therasage, THERASAGE. And it has the infrared panels. It also has red near infrared light panels in there too. And you just sit in a stool.
So you get double.
Gets hot fast.
Looking at me so intense.
It gets hot fast. My girlfriend has one. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sweating. Versus, going through and getting the traditional sauna. I use Clearlight. I think it's the best sauna brand.
Okay.
I use saunafriend.com. And David Dremel is the owner of that. He lives in Colorado, and he's just a wealth of knowledge. Like
he's been on the podcast.
Yeah, David has about saunas, right?
Yeah, saunas. We talk all about it. Go
back. He has a book about saunas.
He knows a lot. He's like
he knows so much more than just saunas too. Like he's just a little wealth of optimization for health.
Yeah, Okay, let's talk about the cold plunge.
Yeah, so the cold plunge, the cold plunge. Jillian used to come over to my house and be like, I'm coming over, I'm using the cold plunge. Here's a garage code. Like also too, I have these tools in my house. I'm like, friends, come over, use them, please. So yeah, the cold plunge, you don't have to have a cold plunge. I personally am partial to the cold plunge because I feel like submersing yourself in cold water, I just get way more calming effect. And to me laying down, putting my head on the back and then really getting my neck where your vagus nerve is in the cold water. So cold plunge, you could also do cryotherapy. They do cryotherapy in these bigger facilities because it's cleaner, so versus cold plunge, right? So that's why it's almost better just to own one, the cold plunge versus.
I was actually, when I want a cold plunge and an infrared, and Jason and I kind of talked where to put it in the house. And I was picturing him and I sitting in it, just like when you were talking. And how sweaty he gets, and then him getting into the cold plunge, all sweaty, and then me getting in, and I would be like, "That's gross." So you shower before you get into the cold plunge?
If you can, you get in, you go through.
Because I'm like, that would get gross quick.
You sweat that out, but that's why these cold plunges are pretty expensive, $3,000, $4,000. So you have it's like a mini pool, so it has like a little chiller, so you don't have to constantly. I regulated our water. We had like a manual cold plunge where I had to cool it with ice and everything.
I remember that.
It was awful. And then it would grow bacteria in it within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's why you're not paying for the plunge, the actual tub, you're paying for the chiller. And the chiller is going to keep your water regulated. You can operate from your iPhone. It's really nice. And then it cleans your water.
Okay. So you could jump in all sweaty and it would still just clean.
You could, but still, I at least wipe that sweat off,
Got it.
But yeah, the cold plunge is great for stimulating and energizing you. So it helps to increase more of the vasoconstriction, like the sauna and the heat is more vasodilation. And it really helps to release happy neurotransmitters. So your dopamine, your serotonin, your norepinephrine, your endorphins. So you'll get release of that.
That's what you get from the sauna.
The cold plunge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but you said not to do it at night though, right?
Right, because it's more stimulating. Also, neurotransmitters like cortisol. It releases that as well. So your driver neurotransmitters.
Okay,
so
you didn't say that.
Your get shit done neurotransmitters.
Yeah, you said serotonin and melatonin, right?
Serotonin, norepinephrine, and endorphins and dopamine.
Got it. And cortisol.
And it does release cortisol. So
damn. Okay,
you
that's
know,
your giddy up. Giddy up.
You get giddy up. That caffeine does it. Anything that you think of vasoconstrictors, your stimulators, they all caffeine, nicotine, stimulants, cold plunge, all that stuff is on your more vasoconstriction. Vasoconstriction kind of goes along with the sympathetic nervous system. So you ask, okay, well, why would I cold plunge if I'm chronically stressed?
You wouldn't.
So it's just, that's the thing is.
That's one of those things, like you said, you add on at the end after you're on the other side.
You add on later, yeah. For me, it actually is interesting. For me, it was the thing that helped reset my circadian rhythm. So I didn't have any cortisol whenever I woke up in the morning because I was completely adrenal insufficient. So for me, it helped to stimulate my cortisol instead of me going to caffeine. So I would get my eyes on the sun and I get my cold plunge, but not at an over stressful body temperature in the water. So really they show women don't need to be doing 38 degrees and throwing ice in there. Women really only need to be at like 55 or 60 degrees Fahrenheit because we are a little bit more sensitive to stress. Think about your baby. If you guys had kids, who wakes up when the baby cries? Mom or dad? Mom does. You know, she's sensitive to these little stressors, right? So if you're doing 60 degrees Fahrenheit, to me, I felt like it helped me because I do it in the morning. So I would get a little cortisol and it helped me throughout the day and a little motivation instead of just being lethargic and stuck in bed. The other thing, whenever you're highly stressed, you got a lot of inflammation possibly from all that sugar cravings that you kind of want to have. So cold plunge reduces inflammation. It also boosts the immune system. Knock on some serious wood. I have not been sick this year, and my son is sick right now. So please don't hopefully say that. And now I'm going to get sick. It enhances circulation. If you have any muscle pain, it will literally, or even joint pain, right, Jillian? Like it will just knock it out.
Zaps it.
Yeah. So like if I'm on my menstrual cycle, and I'm getting a lot of cramps down I'll get them in my low back. I'll get in there and like I'll get out and it's gone. Headaches, gone. Man, the cold plunge is like one of those things where you do it and it's just like completely gone. Mental clarity, another one is like I'll get in and it's like the what's it called? The sunroof just like opens up on my brain. I'm like ready to go once I get my neck in there and I feel literally neurotransmitters shooting off in my brain. And I'm just such a better mom, such a better person. I make breakfast. I'm like, do versus getting out of the bed. If I didn't have the cold plunge, I think I would probably be a little bit more lethargic in the morning. And it really increases mental resilience and toughness because you think I want to get in that thing in the morning first whenever I wake up. No, every single time it sucks. But I know the thing is like, if your brain knows how you feel after,
it'll do it.
You do it. And I'm like, dang, I did it. And I feel stronger. Like I can take on more. You know what I mean?
Wow. That's cool.
So
what is the optimal use for the cold plunge?
So optimal use is about 15 minutes a week. So trying to do that about 3 minutes each, 4 times a week, average out. So if you can do that, that'd be great.
That's 12 minutes, Ash.
Yeah, I know 12, but you can't really.
So that would be 5 times a week.
15 minutes a week.
Is 5 sessions at 3 minutes. 5 times 3 is 15.
Well, maybe 5 times then, yeah. Huberman recommends 15 minutes per week. I just do it 4 times a week. I don't do it any more than that.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was
12 to 15 minutes a week.
15 minutes a week, yeah. I was using Edge Theory mostly because it was a blow up. Like I liked to just blow up and I could put it in my garage in the summertime and then bring it upstairs by the sauna in the wintertime because like I ain't going to get in the cold when I'm already cold.
Mm-hmm.
And Edge Theory went out of business. I'm super bummed. But I did their sister company Cold Tour, COLDTURE. Is the same exact. They use the same exact system with their blow up, but still very durable plunge. So Cold Tour is a nice company. There's also the plunge, but my thing is why would I put another bathtub in my home that I can't move? So you just gotta have space because those bigger ones take up quite a bit of space.
Would you say it's called Cold Tour?
Cold Tour, COLDTURE. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's free shipping, and they have
is that one word?
A 3-year warranty on them.
Is that one word? TOURE?
Cold TURE.
TOURE, yeah.
you find it?
No, I'm not getting anything. I'm going to write cold tour, cold plunge. I'm just looking. I'm still in the hunt. I see it now. Got it. Cold tour. Yep. No, it's T-U-R-E.
T-U-R-E.
I spelled it T-O-U-R-E.
Okay,
Sorry.
yeah.
Maybe I was
T-U-R-E.
listening to you wrong. Okay,
That's a good one.
Walk us through the PEMF mat,
PEMF mat.
I just got one.
Yay!
Laid on it this morning. So funny. I thought I'd been laying on these at Palm. So I've been laying on the biomat. Different, right?
Oh, yeah. Totally different. So biomat uses infrared heat and then crystals to help with ion balancing.
Okay, so that's
PEMF mat's a totally different
my
mechanism.
gosh. So I totally got the PEMF mat and just turned it on and got on.
Yeah, she got on all full blown everything.
I think I got a little too relaxed the first time I got on. I got off it. I was like, whoa.
Are you doing better now?
Well, yeah, I've been very nervous. So now I've been doing earthing, the earth one.
Good, yeah.
Today I tried a different one. I tried I haven't gone to energizing yet because it goes from 1 to 100.
Yeah, be careful. That's a lot.
Yeah.
You're sticking down below 10 hertz right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know if you need any more energy.
I went
energized.
from 5 to 12 today.
Okay, yeah. I've never done the energizing one.
Dude, I'd be scared to death given how I felt the other day when I got off of it, and it went all the way down to, it was like at 3 hertz. It would
a little too
I was like
low.
a puddle.
Yeah.
I was like, what is, I felt like my blood pressure dropped. I was like, what's wrong? She's like, well, maybe you've never been that relaxed.
Yeah, it's very relaxing.
But what is going on in your body?
This one is really, really hard to explain, okay? So I'm going to try my very, very best because I have read about this so many times and I'm like, how can I explain this easier to people? So bear with me, okay? So PEMF mat stands for pulsed electromagnetic frequency. So what it does is it uses low frequency electromagnetic pulses to stimulate your body's own natural healing and optimizes your cellular function. So it clears out ion blockages that happen and that enhances your cells to talk to each other and communicate better. So it pulses to restore your body's magnetic field and it boosts your energy and increases, like we said, cellular metabolism. And so every cell has an electric charge. I know it's hard to think we are just made up of a bunch of cells, but every cell has an electric charge and that can be disrupted by several things: stress, injury, EMF exposure, toxic load, pollutions, illness, autoimmune disease, antibiotics, like the list goes on, right? So these charges can become imbalanced and then our cellular function declines and we get something called mitochondrial dysfunction, right? Or low mitochondria. So this really helps to stimulate that mitochondria and that powerhouse of the cell. So the PEMF helps to balance out through delivering those pulsed electromagnetic waves. And then that will help you to feel better. So I use the Omni PEMF mat, OMI, and that one I like it because it has several settings. It has an app with it and there's probably 50 different things you can treat. Like you can type in, osteoarthritis,
I got a lot of
osteoporosis, wound, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's.
Would we ever use those or no?
I don't think so.
We were just going to use like energizing grounding,
calming. Yeah. Or if you have pain, if your knee is really bothering you, you could try one of the pain settings,
I want to feel the energy kick up more though.
Yeah. So maybe you should check out that, but maybe not go to 100 hertz at first. Okay.
It said at 100. I was like, what the?
Should we buzz in? So I like the OMI one because
I laid on my PEMF mat today. Oh my gosh.
So I like that though, because you can go and do a relaxation setting or you can do an energy setting. It just depends on whatever you need. So we want to be around 7.83 hertz, and that's Mother Earth's magnetic frequency.
That's the one I've been safely doing.
Yeah. So our PEMF mat helps to restore our equilibrium and recharges our human batteries through cells. Right? So our human cell battery, we need a charge too, and we can get discharged through all of these different ions. So it's just rebalancing those ions within the cell. So I think it's really great.
Okay. Last one is infrared light. No, red light therapy.
Yeah. So red near infrared light.
And it is different than the light that's in the infrared sauna, correct?
Yes. So
confusing.
Very confusing. So I did not understand why they were calling it infrared for the longest time. So every time before I bought any of my products, I did a huge deep dive. I learned so much. But Dave Axbury actually helped me with this one. But you have the light spectrum, and so you got your UV light, your microwaves, your X-rays, your gamma waves, and then you get into your infrared waves. And so your red and your near infrared are on more of the end of that spectrum. And your blue light's way over here on the left, like before the red near infrared. And then your far infrared is past the red near infrared. Okay, so essentially you're going in your red light, it goes to 630 to 700 nanometers on that light spectrum. And that can penetrate 5 to 10 millimeters into the skin. So more of like your epidermis. And that's used for more like surface treatments.
Oh, like on the face. I have one of those crazy masks.
Yes. And then the near infrared is the really healing light. So you can't actually see the near infrared by the human eye, but it penetrates 700 to 1,200 nanometers. So way deeper into the skin. So into the dermis, where the dermis has, and even to the muscle. The dermis is where all your blood is and all your collagen, your elastin. And so that can penetrate 50 millimeters into that skin, reaching deeper tissues like the muscles. So it's not like the damaging UV ultraviolet light, it actually, this light heals and helps aid in cellular regeneration and repair. So it's definitely helping you with your mitochondrial production, energy production, skin repair, new cellular growth, elastin production. And so also I've had like where I strained a muscle by overlifting or something, and I'll just jump up there on my red light board and put the body part right up underneath it. And it will just knock it out. Like the pain's gone, kind of like the cold plunge.
Really?
So this one is another one that's like, you can really pull it out for the right thing and it can just totally take things away. So I have a lot of my patients get like red near infrared wraps for their knees or getting a board. And I bring in a board and I have my patients use it too. But not just the muscle pain, but the wound healing. If you have acne, it can help with acne. It increases your hair thickness, your skin appearance through collagen. And so, yeah, there's just several things, immune function. But if you use it at night, it can actually increase melatonin production, help you with sleep. So how many times do you use that? Well, I try to use it daily, but I don't always get to that one. But that's one that I use more in the evening time with my PEMF mat to calm me down.
I'm just thinking right now, I'm like, I got my PEMF mat. It's on my couch. I'm going to bring my face red light thing and I'm going to store it in my ottoman drawer and I'm just going to put that on.
These are called the stacking, right? The biohacker stackers. So what I was like, I used to have like just
Jason's going to come home and be like, what the fuck, Jillian?
Oh, yeah.
You're so
My husband's
weird.
just already like, whatever. He never uses this one. He uses the cold plunge and the sauna though. So I haven't quite pulled him over here on these two. But yeah, so what I do is I have like a massage table, my physical therapy table, and I'll lay my PEMF mat down on it. And then I ended up getting a horizontal stand that holds my red light over me. So I don't have to have it vertical anymore, up and down, where I'd have to like literally hug it naked. It was so awkward. And so having it up, now I can knock out two birds with one stone, get that PEMF mat, that red light, 20 minutes, because people are probably like, that'll take too much time. But really, if you get your setup right, you just start doing it. And it's like, this is cool. This has helped me feel better.
Mm-hmm. Last night and this morning, last night I did the calming one, the earthing one. And this morning I did more of the I did the wellness one today. I decided to go to wellness because it went up to 12 before I jumped to the energizing up to 100. Although I can customize them. And
yes, you can.
And so maybe I could make one that's at like 15 to 20, but sometimes it goes back and forth or it'll just stay at a hertz. I don't know the difference.
So that one, the one that you have is the new upgraded model. So what it should do is be scanning back and forth through the hertz.
It does, but you can set it to stay at a hertz if you want.
I probably want it. I think you get more benefit of just it fluctuating back and forth because most of those settings allow you to go back, fluctuate, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, versus just sticking at 1 hertz and just nailing those cells,
Oh, so different hertz nail different cells.
So if you're going 10 hertz or below, you're going to be your calming effect. If you go 10 hertz and above, then you're going to be more of your energizing effect.
That's what I want. That's what I want to feel in the morning.
I wouldn't go 100 though.
No, I'm not going to go 100.
But
what about
20? 30, 20, 30. Yeah. And then when your Garmin works again, your Garmin watch is out for sleep, right? See,
it didn't record last night. Maddie tried to reset my watch. Nothing. I think it might be broke. My sleep and my HRV has not been recording for over 2 months. I have no data in here.
So it'd be cool to see this PEMF mat. And then that's what I like to do is check it and see did that work? Is it better?
It is telling me my body battery and my training readiness, which I love to see too. But it is not reading my sleep for whatever reason. I don't know.
Time for an Oura ring.
I know. I've been thinking about it.
Black Friday sale.
I've been thinking about it. Oh.
Yeah, but I think it's just important for the listeners to know that if you don't have a little wind down and you had a really, you're grinding at work all day and you got kids and you're on the go from, time your feet hit the floor in the morning to the time you go to bed and you're struggling with sleeping, figure out a way that can wind you down. Mm-hmm. This is my wind down technique.
This is kind of like the sleep hygiene we were talking about, like having some things that you turn to. Mm-hmm. This could be part of your sleep hygiene.
Yes, it could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Talk about which ones are best for inflammation and oxidative stress.
So I think a lot of these are great, but I'm going to be very specific. For the inflammation, oxidative stress, your red light, your cold water therapy, and your PEMF map. And then more for like energizing, we just said, right? Cold water therapy or the cold plunge. It really can help reset those circadian rhythms if you're doing it in the morning. And then the PEMF mat can really help to energize you. And then more of like your evening one to relax you and detox you is more the sauna, the PEMF mat, and even the red light. So, yeah.
I know in the past we've done like sauna plunge.
Contrast therapy.
Yeah. When do you want to do that?
I'd say probably not at nighttime,
Is that just, because like everything I'm hearing you, it sounds like, do the sauna infrared at night or the red light and do the cold plunge in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. So the thing on the contrast therapy is what they call it, is like you are just getting so much blood flow flushing. So whenever you get hot, your blood goes out to like your peripherals and your muscles and feeds those muscles. And then whenever you get cold, it goes more to the organs. So you're just pumping, you're flushing the organs and then the muscles, the peripherals, and so back and forth. So you're getting a whole lot of circulation. And if there's anything that you want to do, you want to get hot and you want to get cold. You don't want to stay stagnant in your body temp. So you want to challenge that body temp and it'll create more resilience. It's controlled stress is what it is. And so with that controlled stress, you improve your resilience and your ability to manage stress better.
So it will actually help you cope better.
Yeah.
See, like, I know like coming over to your house and using that plunge, and I know you didn't even keep it that cold. It's like 55. It's very tolerable. If I would try not to get in the warm shower afterwards, just put my clothes on, I shiver for an hour sometimes, Ashley.
Yeah. And so, it depends on like how stressed you were before you came over, right? But to lots of variables. But whenever you're shivering a while after, you're really burning brown fat. And so it increases your brown fat, I believe. I'm not going to really speak on this because I haven't reviewed this in a minute. But brown fat's better because there's mitochondria and there's energy within brown fat versus, white fat and like true just fat doesn't have anything and it's just fat. So it increases your brown fat. And so that shivering is not always a bad thing, but you don't want to be shivering all day long. So if you can try to break that cycle, maybe after that hour. But if you're real stressed out and you had a really stressful day and you just stressed it more with the cold plunge, you might notice you shiver more.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you just can't get back to like homeostasis.
I do yoga at Sumit's. It's great in the valley. It's totally just your yoga studio when you go there, but it makes it really hot. They do the exact same flow of sequence every single time. Never changes. And it's boring sometimes, but you're like, what they've taught me is when you show up, whether it's 5:45 class, 8 a.m. class, or 4 p.m. class, and we do the exact same thing that you did 4 days ago, 5 days ago, whatever, but you feel completely different. Why? It's the exact same movement at the exact same time at the exact same temperature. So what it is taught is like how you come into the class has a lot to do with every other factor in your life. And so
that's right.
Did I sleep properly? Am I going to start my period in 2 days? Did I not eat enough? Oh my gosh, I'm dehydrated. So like all of these things I've become more aware of, not doing hot yoga the week before my period. Always making sure I drink an element the day before and during and after. Like I'll drink extra that day because you sweat so much. You probably sweat 5 pounds.
Yeah, after the sauna, you have got to remineralize an electrolyte because like if you're doing sauna 4 days a week,
you're going to deplete yourself.
You are going to get dehydrated and rebalancing yourself because you're sweating. And if you tasted your sweat, it tastes like salt, So yeah, I think I'll never forget the day you came over and you got in the cold plunge and you had a fire in the back of one of the Fit flavors.
Oh yeah.
And you had just cold plunged, and I'm like, and you were shaking while you're on the phone. Like I was like, oh no, this was not good.
I forgot I did that at your house. And then, I went up there to take care of it.
Yeah.
That's right. And you know what sucked? I think it was right during like the couples club championship that year at Meadowbrook. And I couldn't play in it with Jay because I was like, this is priority number one. We had an electrical fire. There was lightning. It hit one of our electric things. And literally there was a fire in the back. It was catching trees on fire, wires on fire. We lost all our power. And I went into freak out mode for the next probably a little more than 48 hours. We had to move everything out of the facility. I called friends who had reefer trucks. We moved everything out and then had to put it all back in. And my body was not well for 6 weeks after that.
Yeah.
After that happened.
Yeah, it was too much stress, you know?
My neck, it was so messed up. It was so messed up. I couldn't work out. Yep. I didn't sleep because I was just freaking out. We had, it was like $70,000 of just product just at Chesterfield.
And you had to move that product, I remember.
Yeah, physically move it.
You didn't sleep. Like you were just still working on moving product late at night. Whenever I was talking to you. So yeah, making sure whenever you get in that cold plunge, you're going to go through that first initial
I probably
cold
shouldn't have cold plunged if I knew I was going in there for it.
Yeah, we had no idea, right? But I was like, oh no, I just kept thinking that whenever he came out, I was like, oh no, it's not good for her.
You should have been like Jillian, get in the hot shower.
Yeah, I should have. Before you go, get in the hot shower. But yeah, make sure whenever you get in that cold plunge, your first time or even your 15th time, you're going to go through cold shock. Lay your head back, relax, breathe, baby, with that 4-4-8. And listen to some calming music. So what you'll do is you'll go through this quick downshift from sympathetic, oh my gosh, I'm so freezing cold, into parasympathetic when you do that. But if you fight it the whole time, you're like, oh, I'm so cold. And then you just keep on being cold and shivering and fighting it and not breathing. You're just staying in sympathetic. So it actually the cold plunge can be detrimental to you.
That's why you probably shouldn't start at a super cold temperature.
No.
Don't start at a super cold.
Start warmer. Yeah. If it's your first time. So yeah, some of my favorite ones that I really like and use is, like I said, the one that you have and I have is the OMI Omni brand. And if you guys want 40% off, I have a wholesaler account. So I have a practitioner account there. So reach out to me on my social media accounts, or if you've got my email, whatever it is, social media accounts, Healing with AK on Instagram and Ashley Kumar on Facebook. And I can help you get one for your home. And then I really like the Clear Light Sauna by Sauna Friend. And then the Infrared is the brand that I use because of several reasons, but good power output. I think it's got a pretty good warranty on it, and it also has low EMF. That's huge. You don't want to be having something close to your body and your head and your face whenever it has high EMF. And then the Cold Tour, COLDTURE, are the top products that I use for those. There's just so many. You just got to be careful because there's some crappy ones out there. So make sure you have a warranty, and free shipping is always nice, and people that will take care of you. So if you want to check any of that stuff out, just get on my website, ashleykumardpt.com, or my Instagram. And I'm posting about this stuff all the time because I do it all the time. So I might as well post about it, right? But yeah, these tools have been like the icing on the cake, baby. They've just taken me to the next level. So I feel so alive again and awake. It's like my eyeballs finally opened up. My eyelids finally opened up. It's great.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in to another episode of Owning the Weight podcast. This is brought to you by Fit Flavors, our sponsor. We are a local brand here in St. Louis that makes and prepares healthy meals to go. So come check us out. Anyways, we will catch you next time on the podcast. Bye-bye.
See ya.